This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yes, there he is. How you feeling, my man? Oh, I got the. Oh, wait a minute. I got the. There we go. I'm eliminating the blue rainbow I've been getting here from the glare off the glass. I'm in Vegas, so.
Okay. I'm in Tallahassee.
Oh, you're in Tallahassee? Okay.
For the state high school football championships. A lot of big time recruits and college coaches up here, so I've been busy talking to those people,
Okay.
So.
All right, so we've got an addition to the ACC as Manny Diaz is back, and he is the head coach of Duke. What'd you think of that, dude? Because, man, that came out of left field.
Well, I heard about 2 weeks ago it was a possibility, right when Elko decided to leave. Bruce Feldman, who works with me at The Athletic, mentioned to me, he says, I think Manny Diaz might be the perfect guy for that job, right? Because at Duke, the expectations are pretty low, right? And essentially you can step into that job and build. And I don't think Mike Elko changed the expectations at Duke, right? They had a couple good years, but I think certainly that's the kind of place where maybe Manny can do a better job than he did in Miami. Maybe he's more prepared for what it takes to be a head coach now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's going to be the test. Plus, he's doing it in a more difficult environment than even the University of Miami,
right.
Where he may not have had all the resources here, but he still had the backyard, and it's the U. Now you got to recruit at Duke, and those kids are going to have to actually hit the books. So you've got to go after a different kind of player there at Duke. So that's going to be one hell of a challenge for Diaz.
Absolutely. But you know what? Duke, again, the expectations are low. So if he goes 6-6, 7-5, and makes a bunch of bowl games every single year, it's probably good enough, right? He can sort of do the Mark Stoops at Kentucky thing. It's a basketball school. Expectations are low, and
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And one thing I will say about Diaz, I don't know if he'll be able to do it here, but he was always pretty good at working the transfer portal. That's one of the things that kind of saved his ass when he was here. He got some pretty good players off the transfer portal. Far be it from me to give Manny Diaz any credit anywhere, but I will give him credit there. He did a nice job in the transfer portal, and that's I don't know how is Duke's NIL game. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I mean, look, I think obviously in basketball they have to be competitive, right? They still get some really good basketball players to come there. So I'm sure he'd be able to use it maybe on a quarterback or a D tackle or something of that nature. I'm sure that they're not flush with cash the way that some other programs are. But, I could see Duke, look, Mike Elko went in there and they were pretty good. 8 wins, 7 wins. Back-to-back seasons. I could see Manny doing the same kind of thing in a place like that. So he'll be able to attract guys to come and play there. I think he's going to be able to attract transfers. It's funny. We were kind of commenting about this yesterday. Manny gets the job at Duke. What's to stop him from calling Tyler Van Dyke, his former quarterback, to come over and take over there, right? So,
well, you said that Lashley has his guy already, and so he can't really kick the kid out and say, hey, come on over, Tyler. So you could be right. He could be going to Duke. That might be an option. Now, when you tweeted yesterday out the whole stuff about Manny taking over, I retweeted your tweet, and I said this: Mario Cristobal, better.
I saw that.
Better win against Manny Diaz Jr. because Negate will be child's play next to that loss. And he loses that game. He doesn't lose his job because we know they gave him too much money and they're too committed to him for too many years. So they can't release him yet. But if he loses that game, it's the equivalent of Diaz losing FIU. You're done with the fan base. You will not, for you to gain respect from the fan base, it's going to take some really special stuff after that, because that would be the low point of all low points if Cristobal loses that game.
1,000%, 1,000%, especially if he picks up Tyler Van Dyke in the portal, right? I mean, it'd be a double whammy for the football program and the fan base for people to deal with that. So, look, I personally think Miami's going to be a much better football team next year. I was looking at the schedule for this year, and I get it. The rosters have a lot of work to be done on both sides of the roster, but I mean, Florida is down. USF is coming off a 6-6 season. A lot of the teams on Miami's schedule for next year are coming off of 6-6 years. Florida State and Louisville are the two best opponents really on paper right now, and those teams are also losing a lot off of this year's roster. So I think Miami in year 3 under Mario Cristobal, this could be a 10-win season if they get the transfer portal quarterback that they want. I think you have a really good foundation with some of those freshmen that played this year, and I think they're going to look. The recruiting class.
So you're basing it on pure talent winning. See, that's my problem, Manny. Here's where you and I get a fork in the road, because if I don't trust the coach can fuck everything up.
Oh, 100%.
And so it doesn't matter to me if you have the talent. If you don't know how to coach them, you're going to underachieve in a couple of games. And instead of you're talented enough to win 10 games, but your coaching made you only win 8 of them. And so that's my problem with Mario. I'm at a point now where I'm kind of questioning him as a game day coach. I know he excels at everything else. I love him everywhere else. Where I'm really disappointed with him is on game day. And so I don't know if I could count on 10 wins. That's if the talent just takes over. But if it requires certain decisions by this coach, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to see it.
I can see your point. I mean, I don't disagree with you. But I guess I'm sort of counting on the talent being here. I think they are going to have an upgrade in talent between what they do in the portal and what they do with the recruiting class and with kids growing up. Some of the guys that he recruited in this last cycle, I think it's there for them to take a step up in year 3. And I think that's the way I always sort of looked at it. I always looked at it at some point in year 3, year 4, Mario's going to have a really talented team that could maybe overcome some of those coaching deficiencies. And I do think he does have
they didn't this year. And that what is it, 7 wins they had this year, correct? 7?
Yeah, 7.
7. They should have won 8 or 9 easily.
Yeah, 8 if he takes a knee. And then the NC State game, you could put on Tyler Van Dyke with all those interceptions. I mean, look, you could sit here and nitpick and just say they didn't get the job done. That's the bottom line. They should have been better.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. I just think from a talent perspective, I look at them on paper and just talking to people in college football world, I just get the sense that they're going to be a talented enough team to win 10 games. Now, will they get there because of coaching? That remains to be seen.
Okay. We'll wrap it up with this. Any changes coming on the coaching staff, and what's the latest on the recruiting side?
Well, the recruiting side, they're trying to flip some guys. I watched Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 receiver in the country, the number 1 recruit in the country, play yesterday. I know Miami is still pursuing him. He's visiting Florida State this weekend. He's taking an official visit here. Brian Hartline was in the stadium yesterday. He's committed to Ohio State, obviously, so Brian Hartline was here playing defense. And so we'll see what happens with Jeremiah down the stretch. But look, he's got a lot of kids that he grew up with that are going to Miami, that played a part of those Miami Gardens Ravens, that are trying to convince him to flip and stay home. So we will see what happens with that December 20th. There's other guys that they're on the verge of trying to flip from other schools. It's just a matter of NIL, parent approval, that kind of stuff. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see another 1 or 2 commitments here before signing day on the 20th, and then everything else is the transfer portal. Will they get a quarterback? Cam Ward, I think, is the main choice for Miami. I think, from my understanding, he's graduating, I think, tomorrow from Washington State. He's going through a ceremony, so maybe early next week he may be visiting campus for Miami, and then we'll see from there what happens with the quarterback. That's the big thing they got to nail down. Jeremiah Smith brought that up yesterday. Who's playing quarterback, right? Yeah. So I think for Miami, for Miami, for Ohio State and Florida State, all 3 of those teams, they're trying to get transfer quarterbacks. I know DJ Uiagalelei is probably the guy Florida State's going to end up with, and then I think Ohio State's trying to get in on the Cam Ward sweepstakes as well. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see a lot of things going on. As far as the coaching, I don't expect many changes on the coaching staff. I think for the most part, it'll be the same group coming back, maybe one or two assistants, you kind of switch in and out. But I think for the most part, you're going to see some consistency there.
All right, good stuff. What do you got going on in the athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
I just wrote a big feature on Jeremiah Smith, the number one player in the country, as I mentioned. Talked to a bunch of people who've gone up against him head-to-head, why he's such a special talent. Came out with our freshman All-American team. Max Olson and I put that out yesterday as well. There's a podcast for people to listen to. There's tons of stuff, and I'm here this weekend in Tallahassee. I'm going to be reporting, following some of the 2025 guys that everybody will be interested in as soon as the signing day is over on the 20th.
All right, and don't forget, use our code BIG-O10 when you go to caneswear.com or you go in person. You'll get 10% off. BIG-O10. Use the code. Manny, have a great weekend, my friend. Enjoy Tallahassee. You won't enjoy it half as much as I'm going to enjoy Vegas, but you can try.
I'll try. I won't be here very long. I'll be leaving tonight. So you enjoy Vegas for me. That'll be a lot more fun than Tallahassee.
You got it, baby. You be good out there. We'll talk on Tuesday.
See you, man. Bye.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.